So curved claw hammer, tomahawk.
Yeah, I mean, however you want to go at it.
If somebody comes in my house with a tomahawk, I'm leaving.
Yeah, that's,
yeah.
We're not playing that game. Hi, I'm Matt Ferland with Otis Technology and DRD Tactical.
Hi, I'm Greg Essenlohr with Otis Technology.
So we've got a lot of requests to talk a little bit about home security, different weapons, things like that. So by no means are we, home defense experts. I've never got broken into. I don't think you have.
No, these are just some of our opinions.
Yeah, it's pretty much basics that we know will work and help you. So some tips we can give you on your house and set up and inside on what to do. So we'll kind of touch base on a lot of different things. First thing, I'll just start right into it, is you don't want to make your house a target.
Yeah.
So don't leave expensive things out in the front yard. Don't leave your doors wide open, people driving by. I mean, it depends on the community you live in, but no matter what, you always want to make you a harder target. Having a dog or dog leash out front is great. That kind of scares people off. Most criminals are always going to look for the easiest target. So it's like the scenario, if someone's 6 foot tall and 250 pounds, you're probably not going to try to run up and mug them, versus somebody that's 105 pounds and got a wad full of cash in their pocket. That's an easy target. So you don't want to get yourself in that situation. Precursor to all this is we're going to get inside and talk about weapons and what you're doing, but you have to know that that's the last resort that you ever want to do, is pull the trigger on somebody in your house. If your life is in jeopardy or your family's life, then you got to do what you got to do. But honestly, we all talk about it and we're kind of macho or whatever and say, oh yeah, I'd shoot them and this and that. Man, that's 3 years of your life you're going to be in court. It's probably $100 grand. You're going to have to deal with lawyers and people and it's not a good deal. So you want to make sure you
killed the person.
Yeah, and living with that too. I mean, it's no easy decision. So having a plan and trying to avoid that situation as early as possible in it is your best bet.
And also understanding your laws.
Yeah.
Of a forced entry and
every state is different. You got stand your ground or castle doctrine and all these kind of things where you're allowed to. Here where we're at, you have to retreat as far as absolutely possible before you use deadly force, no matter what. So if they're stealing your TV, it sucks. You can always go and buy a new TV, but you let one ride down that barrel, you're going to deal with that for a long time. So that's really, I can't stress that enough, you have to be prepared and think it out. And it's not just, now I bought a gun and I can protect everybody in my family. And we'll get into some of the other stuff. But alarm systems, the rings, window locks, things like that. You open the window at night, it's a good idea to close it and lock it. And it's just simple things like that. It seems simple, but it just makes it harder.
But locks only keep out family members.
Yeah, family members are honest people. Locks are for everybody else that's not. But
yeah.
Why don't we, I know we've got a ring set up on the side of the house. We can kind of show you what that is and just talk about it a little bit and what they do. So like one thing, Greg, I've seen people like literally like thorn bushes or rose bushes or something in the fronts, just to make it harder if you were going to try to gain access through that. It cut you, it's just annoying for people. We've got a security system on the house set up. This is one of the doorbell, the rings. I know there's Google Nest and there's several other ones. They all work relatively the same. They'll either go to your cell phone, or if you have a monitoring system inside and you can see what's going on, or at least you have evidence and help the police if something happens. Or you scare somebody when you talk to them on the ring and say, hey, get the hell out of here. So,
correct.
It's a really good system. And then, there's other security systems that if you do trip a door or a window or something, it's super loud and lights go off and stuff. So it lets people know, there's something going on here. And when the police get here, which we're in a rural community here, so it could take 10, 15, 20 minutes, through no fault of their own. There's only 2 guys on in the whole county. So, it could take them a while.
Limited.
That's scary when you're in the house and something's going on and you got to wait 15 minutes for somebody to get here. But little things like that, everything adds up. It's not just one little thing that you do will solve everything, but all the little things will definitely add up.
And when we talk about home defense, this is your first line of defense.
Yep.
Having a firearm inside or not, this may deter them from coming into your house.
Yep, for sure. And we talk locking cars and not putting your keys in and everything. Everything you can do to just make it less inviting.
Yep.
Well, why don't we go inside and talk about the plan and layout and what we would do.
All right, sounds good.
So now we're in the house, we're in the master bedroom.
Yep.
And we just heard somebody break a window to get in the house. What do you do?
That's a plan that you got to come up with, you know, thinking about your surroundings, your firearm, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like if you just heard it, is definitely not the time to plan it. Like this has to be done well before, with your family, with your friends, whoever's going to be in your house on a regular basis. These are things that you have to discuss with them and have a plan and then practice it.
It's those emergency preparedness plans.
Yeah,
there's a fire. Where do we meet? Do we meet outside? Okay, there's a burglar tonight. What do we do? Do we stay put? Do we move to a certain area? I mean, that kind of thing. And
to plan is, you know, what is it? If you fail to plan, you're planning to fail.
Ooh, that was good.
That's deep.
That was deep.
Not bad. So I don't know where that came from, but it's basically, you know, in the emergency, you want just muscle memory. You just want to go right into a routine. You know what to do. You've practiced it. It's automatic. You can't put in high stress adrenaline. You can't put a lot of thought into things. It's like it has to happen. You know, ABC.
And I will say, you know, myself personally, you know, I'm a firearms guy. I love firearms, that type of stuff. I've had what I thought were break-ins in my life, and I responded different times, different ways.
Yeah.
I didn't do the same thing every time. You know, showed up with a shotgun one time, a pistol, and then nothing. You know, we can talk about some of those instances and how I responded, and having a plan may have changed how I responded to those.
Definitely, we want to touch base on those stories because you got a couple of good ones. I might have one or two that's pretty decent too, but why don't we go out into the living room area and kind of look around there, and then we'll talk about some firearms and what the advantage and disadvantage of different ones are.
Yeah, good.
So Greg, we're going to make some plans on what firearms we think for what situation and what the advantage and disadvantage of each one are and what we would do generally.
And this is kind of like some common firearms here. You know, we have a rifle, a pistol, and a shotgun.
Yeah, I mean, and we won't get into too much with what caliber and stuff like that. I mean, we can touch on it, but it's really the platform and what you're looking to do with it.
Advantages and disadvantages of size
and what you're comfortable with. You know, if you're not comfortable with a shotgun, it's too big, it's too unreal, well then by all means don't use it, go to something else. So do you want to start with shotgun?
Yeah, I mean, let's just look at old Trusty here. This is a Remington 870 12 gauge. I mean, the one thing about this shotgun is it's that universal sound of you don't belong. Yeah. You know? You can leave now. You can leave now, yeah. This is, everything is unloaded, safe. We don't have magazines in, just so we're all clear with that. But I've heard, you know, different statistics about a shotgun. Somebody comes in, you freeze, you pull the first round, you forget to, you know, cock it, that kind of thing. But that is a pretty universal sound when somebody comes in the house. Yep. It's a decently wider pattern depending upon your projectiles, whether you're running slugs, buckshot, or birdshot. Yep. I know. Hard to miss. Before I bought a pistol, I remember I had a shotgun, and people used to laugh how I'd load it, because I'd put the first two would be birdshot, the next two would be buckshot, and the last two would be slugs, or the last one would be slugs. And they're like, why? I'm like, if I can't warn them on the first two bird shots, it's followed up with buckshot, and the last ones are slugs. Yeah, to get through. Correct. And then that's something, knowing your scenario, a slug will go through a wall. Correct. So you've got to keep that in mind also, and what you're doing with it. One of the problems with shotguns is if the house is dark and you know, you don't know where somebody is exactly, and you're coming around a corner, the barrel sticks out way past where you are, it's easy for somebody to grab it, and you're gonna wrestle with it. So there are some disadvantages to try to clear a room or get in on somebody with a gun that's that long. Correct. And then generally, if you're like, well, that's a situation, you'll jump into something, you know, this is an AR pistol. It's in a 300 blackout, which is a great round for interior work. It probably will get through one wall of sheetrock or something. Two, probably not. It's a 30 caliber round, the 300 blackout. Very, very easy to work with as far as, you know, up close. And then this particular one, our DRD APTUS, you can fold it and work it this way too. So now we were talking about how long that was. This you can really be in tight with. Yep. You know, you've got multiple magazines or something you're grabbing, so you have a lot of ammunition you can carry with in a relatively short, where you're talking about 5 rounds. Compared to 30. Yeah. Or more. And more, depending on where you live. Correct. One of those things. But so different sights on here. You can have your flip-up sights. You can have red dots. There's a lot of different ways you can go with it. I honestly think a red dot on anything working inside, aside from IR or something where you know you're going to send, but a red dot, it's just your acquisition to target is so much faster. Correct. If you have multiple intruders, you can go from one to the next to the next, keeping in mind what's behind that wall. That's where I would talk about, you know, maybe a disadvantage of an AR-15. You're in, you know, a duplex or apartment complex or very, you know, tight urban area where you do have neighbors. You have to think about beyond that wall. If you miss that person, or, you know, and where's it going to go?
What do you do?
Are you going to hit an innocent bystander? You know, like this with the 2 kids' bedrooms here. You know, if an intruder's coming in this way,
this is a bad spot.
This is a bad spot.
Right.
Yep. And you got to be very choosy on, you know, you don't harm your own kids.
Right. And that's that planning thing again, where your kids know if you say, hey, kids, you know, lock down, whatever the magic word is, you know, yours is pineapple.
Pineapple.
I just blew that up for you. But whatever you've got to do, make sure they're in place. You don't want wandering when you're going around in a high stress situation. And then you're coming out of this bedroom, well, where's your spot to get? You probably want to get over in this area. You can grab cover, and you're covering most of the house.
Yep.
So let's be honest, you're giving that person an opportunity to get the hell out.
Correct.
So like we said, the last thing you want to do is have to shoot somebody.
Yep.
They now know you're armed. You've told them. You're in your safe zone, and they're not. So there's the door. You came in, get the hell out, and give them that opportunity to get away.
Yep.
Because it's a lot less paperwork for you in the long run,
yep.
and on your conscience and everything else. And I would say the vast majority of people are going to have a handgun.
Yep.
You know, most people carry them in the bedroom on a nightstand, whether you have a biometric safe or something like that. If you have kids, you have to have them locked up, depending on your state regulations, or you know, you set them on the nightstand alone. This one actually has a laser, and then you have a light. So you've got 2 things. One, you're messing with their eyes with a strobe light or a flashlight. It's easy to see where you're walking, so you can get around. And then the laser, honestly, is one of those things where, you know, I might not have perfect form at night when I just woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning, but I know if that dot is on something, I'm probably going to be pretty close to it.
Correct.
You know, to hit it.
Yep.
And just the fear factor alone, if somebody sees a green dot on them or a red dot on them, it's go time. So those are things. The flashlight I like, so the less I have to think about to do it. I'm grabbing one item, I've got everything right there, versus a separate flashlight, and you know, now you're holding and doing different things. I don't know if I have to work a doorknob, if I'm trying to do something else. So having one thing, caliber, like we said, you know, I mean, it's what you're comfortable with.
Correct.
This is a 9. I'm comfortable with that.
Yep.
You know, you do have to worry about that crossfire thing, but it'll do the job with hollow points or something like that to take somebody down. But that's really your 3 platforms, and then it's a personal preference on what you need to do. And
so curved claw hammer, tomahawk.
Yeah, I mean, however you want to go at it.
If somebody comes in my house with a tomahawk, I'm leaving.
Yeah, we're not playing that game.
But you know, we've talked about it earlier in different episodes and stuff. Is, you know, regardless of what firearm you're going to use, understand its limitations. Understand, you know, where you can and can't use it. Understand your surroundings, but also become fluent with it. Practice with it. Train and practice. And you know, a shotgun. Okay, if this thing is loaded, and let's just say your wife decides to use it, can she reload it under duress if she needs to?
Yep. Where's the safety?
Where's the safety?
So, this particular one is probably the most popular shotgun of all time, the 870.
Yep.
I know there's other companies. Mossberg's got one out there too.
Yep.
She finds it easier to use the ambi safety on the top of the receiver with her thumb than it is doing this. Yep. So if she's comfortable with that, we use that one. That's, you know, that's just one of those little things. But she wouldn't know that unless she went to the range and actually like practiced with it and said, well, I like doing this better than that. It just seems more, you know, where it flows. So you have to get familiar with the gun. And then you've got to maintain them. I mean, when you're done using them, clean them. Make sure they still cycle and everything.
You ever cleaned one?
Honestly, I just get another one.
Because,
you know, I'm not going to, I have at least 3.
I've transitioned to a pistol for personal defense in the home or, you know, concealed carry because it's easier to manipulate, you know, jams, that kind of stuff, mag changes and stuff for me. It's a lot easier on a pistol than, you know, you get into rifle malfunctions and stuff. Yeah. Makes a good club, I guess.
You do what you got to.
You know, but
I know one thing you're saying, concealed carry, and this is huge. So every day in and out of your pants and stuff, you get lint and everything else. You made a comment on one of our videos that
it looked like your belly button.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I was like, I don't want that to happen again. So even if you're not shooting it, you still have to make sure and maintain and clean them and do those kind of things. It's pretty important to do, because when you need it, you want it to work.
Yep.
And you don't want to say, excuse me, sir, I just have to clean this really quick before we get into this. So
yeah,
it's one of those situations. I don't know. I think if you plan,
yep,
you practice it,
yep,
you practice with whatever weapon you're going to choose. Practice with all of them, really, because every situation is going to be different. Odds are, if you are putting thought into this process, you're going to make yourself less of a target, your house less of a target, those kind of things. Just go into your favor, and then your family too. And I mean, people do fire drills. I'm sure the likelihood, and I don't know the percentage, is just as likely getting broke into as having a house fire.
Yep.
So, you know, don't be afraid to practice that, and you know, get your kids involved with it, and what they're doing and where they go, and just every scenario. It's just practice, and it's second nature. And if something, God forbid, does happen, you're ready to go.
Planning.
We can't stress it enough. Planning and being familiar with the weapon, making sure it's mechanically working correctly, keep maintenance wise. And hopefully you never have to use this plan. That's the best thing, is hopefully you don't have to use it, but if you do, you're prepared. Do the best you can. You never want to look back on a situation and, man, if I would have just practiced.
Correct.
If I would have planned, it would have been better. But that's really it.
If you guys have any questions for us, or stories of your own, or comments, we're not professionals at this. We're just offering our insights that we see that may work or help you. But comment below. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, hit that like button, subscribe, go to our YouTube channel, and look at some other videos we've done. Hopefully you get a laugh out of it and learn something maybe.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.